Bishop Art Theater friends. I'm here with Phyllis Cicero, who is the director for our upcoming Women's Theater Festival called Down for the Count, a one-act play festival featuring plays written by women. And so we're really excited to be doing this for the third year again, and we're wonderfully excited to have Phyllis Cicero back again.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's good to be back.
Good. So Phyllis, just tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into the Down for the Count.
Okay, I am a Texas native, and I attended University of Texas in Austin and Columbia University in New York City. I spent 6 years there before coming back to Texas. I thought the original plan was I was going to stay here about 3 years and mosey out to California, but I actually ended up getting a great job. I worked as Stella, the Storyteller on Barney and Friends,
Barney and Friends,
which was great,
yeah.
And so that kind of cemented my spot here. And then the last layer was I had my son, so Dorian and Barney kept me in Texas. So
kept you in Texas. Wonderful. Well, like I said, Phyllis is the director for our upcoming third annual Down for the Count one-act play festival. And all these plays are 6 plays that are written by women. And it's kind of a call to action. And it's a way for us to bring up the numbers of plays produced in America that are written by women. So what, it's only like 22% of plays
22%.
Produced. Plays produced in America are written by women. Only 22%. And
only 3% of those are women of color.
Are women of color. So Down for the Count is a call to action to raise those numbers and to really bring an awareness to the female voice and to really kind of bring to the forefront on American stages and to the community as well women's issues.
Absolutely. There's an African proverb that says the story is different if the lion tells it. So if the story is always from the perspective of the hunter, we're going to get a very different tale. And I think it's really important that women's voices are not only written, they must be produced.
They must be produced.
They must be seen. They must be, the story isn't complete until there is an audience. Until there is, and this is a play festival, which is amazing. I'm also a big advocate for women's voices in screenwriting, so that those movies in all media, because it's important that our stories, nobody can tell our stories like we tell our stories, because nobody's had the experience that we've had. So this opportunity to bring these 3 playwrights, very different plays, 6 very different POVs, point of views, and 6 very different stories.
Yeah.
And each of them very poignant, each of them very bright, vibrant, and each of them really outlining different stages. I tried very hard when Teresa and I were looking over the plays and contemplating which ones to pick, that we had a variety. That we have one play, DIY, which centers around what's going on with younger girls. Also, The Covenant is younger African American women. And then I get the blues sometimes. I can really relate to that. Young, middle of the world, professional women. So they're women, and then we have a little fantasy, we have a little illusion, and we have a little reality checks.
Yeah. So
I love the variety that we're presenting, and I'm in love with my cast. I have an amazingly strong, vibrant cast. And,
as you mentioned, all these plays are different. There are 6 different plays, 6 different perspectives, 6 different viewpoints, obviously. So how do you find a through line through all of that?
Well, when I was reading the plays, one of the things that struck me was the lies that we women tell each other, our girlfriends, our families, our loved ones, and the illusions we create. For some reason, the emphasis has always been on women holding it together. I have a friend whose husband made the mistake of saying he worked harder than she did. And she said, let me run it down to you. No, dear, you don't work harder than I do. I just make it look easy. And I think that's one of the illusions that we as women create, making it look easy. And sometimes there are lies that must be told in order to complete the illusion.
So I mean, like, I understand all of that. So it's just really curious to me, like these plays, they reflect that, these lies, and that we tell each other, and that we tell ourselves. And what would you say by watching something like that on stage? How can we learn from that, and how should that affect us?
When I really thought about the through line being lies and illusions, I understood completely that could be taken really negatively. I think that observation is the key. You cannot fix anything, you cannot move anything, you cannot change anything until first you acknowledge it. And I think that acknowledgement and empowerment go hand in hand. We must understand and recognize, wow, if I don't tell my mom the truth, then I deny myself her help and her assistance. If I don't tell my girlfriend I have a need, then I deny myself her company and her authenticity and her support. So when I talk about the lies, I really want them to be about observation. I really want it to be an illusion that we see ourselves doing it and go, you know what, we got a better way.
Yeah.
You know what, I'm going to speak to my mom. I'm going to talk to my friend and say, I need. And that tends to be very difficult for most women, to say, I need help.
So it's like these plays are almost an open conversation, and really trying to, like you're saying, put that out in front of you and really start that conversation.
Absolutely. You need to, if you don't say, wow, if you don't see yourself in some of these women, if you don't see yourself in some of these situations, if you don't see yourself really ignoring and creating illusions yourselves and lying yourself, we can't change it.
We're just doing ourselves a disservice. You're doing yourself a disservice.
And with these kind of numbers with women playwrights, I'm so grateful that these stories are coming out. You have 22% of the plays that are produced in the United States that are the voices of women. And women are much more than 22%
much more
in this country.
Yeah, 50-something%. Yeah.
And if our stories, and that doesn't mean there aren't stories about women being told. They just aren't being told by women. So really, we're always the lion. We need to tell our stories.
Yeah, of course, yes. So, like in this whole MeToo movement and all that's going on right now, how do you feel something like this responds to that? And how can we learn from that by watching these plays?
I think when you see yourself, the first woman who stood up was brave, but it wasn't the first woman that it happened to.
Right.
So, but because of her visibility, we were able to even create the movement, MeToo, even though MeToo started way before Harvey Weinstein. But we can get into that history lesson later. But bottom line, being able to see your story, being able to see yourself, being able to say, me too, that's the first part of the voice.
Yeah.
Me too.
Me too. Recognizing that, I'm not the only one out there.
I'm not the only one out there. Wow. And not only am I not the only one, someone's written about it. And not only has someone written about it, somebody's produced it. And not only that, now I'm here and I see it. And
that's powerful. Yeah. That's really powerful. So then, like, what would you say would be the one thing that maybe a young woman can take from watching this? And who would you hope to come to see this?
As I said, when I was in the selection of the process, I really wanted to appeal to all age group. We have shows that work with junior high young ladies to full-grown, real mature women. So I really would like to see a push for all women to see this, and men. If you don't have it, I was speaking with someone today. Women speak like butterflies. Men are like arrows. They go straight to the point. And in order for them to understand what this butterfly is seeing, they need to see it too.
Yeah.
And I think I would love to see men support this Down for the Count, so that they get an idea of what our stories are. And they get to say, wow, her too?
Her too, yeah. That's amazing. I hadn't really thought about that, how something like that can really change a male perspective. And it should change the male perspective.
Well, it can change a dynamic in any relationship, whether that's a marital relationship or a long-term relationship. If this woman is keeping an illusion and telling lies, I may have been raped in my youth. I may have had an abortion. I may have thought about it in my youth. Those are not usually things that come up when you order that shot of tequila and you're speaking. But those are things that affect who that woman is authentically. And if a man has an idea that, wow, I have this wonderful woman, I really want to know her and I want to know all of her, those are things that he can assist in breaking that illusion and dispelling that lie.
Yeah. Well, we're really excited to be doing this festival and having, again, Phyllis Cicero come back as director for this year's Down for the Count Festival. It's running March 29th through April 15th, and please come and see it. Get your tickets are on sale now. So, again, thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. I'm excited. Come see the show.
Come see the show. All right. Thanks a lot.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.